discuss it on March 15th, but not vote on it.
No, we're not voting.
Then we'll consolidate the different proposals, and we might have some proposals that are in conflict with one another, and those we'll actually have to vote on.
Great minds are thinking.
And then April 5th, we'll implement the rules change. I think that's the next day.
Yeah, y'all give them to me, I'll put them together.
Okay. But we're gonna have to discuss it, because there are gonna be some, I think there's gonna be some conflict on the 15th. And we're gonna, instead of doing them one at a time, we're just gonna do it as a slate, correct? Or are we gonna, or is it
You gotta go down one at a time.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I meant, we're gonna try to get all the rules changes that we wanna do for this year together on one day, rather than having a new rule change come up every 2 weeks.
Yes.
So do we make an argument
This is
for
the
why
time
the
to do it.
rules shouldn't be changed?
You will.
You should.
You have that opportunity.
You have an opportunity,
On the 15th.
By the 15th?
Back to my question, I'm just curious, like, if we bring public comments section towards the beginning, and then still have the free-for-all towards the end of the meeting, what type of time frame? Because during budget season, those are long meetings for us. And so I'm saying, when we block off, an hour or so, or what's...
Yeah, why not?
No, I'm saying if we're discussing it, we should say it's 30 minutes, 1 hour during this part to take public comment before.
That's what we had talked about, putting a time limitation on that section. Y'all would have to discuss that on the 15th, whether it's too short, too long.
But you know, I just want everybody to keep in mind that, and I'm serious, we are government of the people, by them and for them. We are the government. They are too. We're of them.
But I would add too, though, this is a meeting in public, but not of the public.
But it's a meeting in public where we do want public input.
Right, but there's still a distinction though.
Okay, but yeah, there's a distinction. But we don't want to sit well, I have to speak for me. I don't want to be a public servant without hearing at least from the constituency.
But I think we do hear from them via email. But I think the consensus of this council is what we're saying is no one has said right now about ending public comments. Everyone here so far is saying just to take the personal attacks out of it.
Yeah, you can take it out, and even if you want to take the chairman also has a method of taking it out by cutting the microphone on and Officer Young and escort him out. I understand what you're saying, but I just want people to understand that I embrace listening to people.
Let me see if I think I know where you're going with this, and then I'm going to go back to Martavius. Because Berlin's right, nobody has said we're going to cut off everything, even though Alan has said through the rules, if it ever came to that point, then there will be no violation. However, I agree with you. Unfortunately, this collaboration is going to have to put, if it's their will, some teeth in our rules of procedure because of past experiences with chair, to where it shouldn't be on this body that we have to add extra rules because the chair should be equal upon every single person regardless of what district you represent, to where if this rule needs, and I'm arbitrarily speaking, if this rule works for Reed, this rule needs to work with Janice. If this rule works with Worth, it needs to work for Martavius as well, instead of, well, I'm going to let it work this time.
Right.
But I'm not going to, this gavel won't be hit if they attack Janice, but if they attack somebody like Mr. Covetto, I'm about to hit that gavel on everything. You want it to be equal across the board, and you don't think that we should have to do this. No. But if we have to do it so that the chair is charged for doing that every single time, so be it. I think, I don't want to speak for you. Is that where you're going?
I agree.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Martavius.
Did I miss something in here where we talk about, and I think we need to have formal rules for committees, where it says everybody can sit in, but only committee members are the ones that are allowed to vote.
I'm gonna let Alan take that because these last four,
That was left up to the chair.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying.
but
Look,
anything from
future councils can change it.
right?
But we
and
need to
they
have consistent, right, that's fine.
Mhm.
But I'm saying we need to have consistency, not that the audit committee, you can speak and vote, but then the public works, you cannot. I think that we need to have rules across that apply to every committee. And I guess we decided not to have a committee of the whole, that's fine. But we need to have across committee, people need to know, well, either you do not have speaking rights at none of the committee meetings, or you have them at all. I don't think we need to have a holiday.
Let me say,
I want Alan
this is
to
where,
respond to that because
this is where we are. You all have,
that's been coming up.
you all have the right to speak.
I still go back to here though.
I know, let me just tell you how it's worked. We have, Mary Rose McCormick came in and says, I'm not picking committee members. Everybody's a member of every committee. Now, you should talk about a mess.
We go back, we say we can't do it hodgepodge. We have to collectively as a body.
So, but I hear what you're
change the
saying.
rules to do
Which
that.
we have that now with Robert's Rules of Order, how committee meetings are run.
Well,
But he's
we're
talking about
saying
who
it's consistent.
participates and how they
And Robert's
participate.
Rules say
That's
that
all
committee
he's
members-
saying.
that the committee members do is up to the chair to allow other members of that committee to speak, which in my mind, you're always welcome to speak in my meeting.
I need to bring that up.
Full agenda, then we're gonna run it tight, but we get it done. And get
Well,
down
all
to
he's
it.
saying, listen, all he's saying is that he wants, why don't we just go ahead and memorialize a standard default rule?
Like, just put that
And
in.
then
Yes.
if you want
Yes.
to modify it, you modify it.
Right.
But you have a default rule that you default to, which basically, I would think, allow any council member to speak in any committee, but only committee members can vote.
Correct.
Remember, the significance of what you do in committee is really nothing. Your vote don't mean nothing, really.
Because it's still going downstairs. Well, let me say this because this brings up a question of something that actually happened and goes with what you were saying. If we have to have a rule as a default rule,
Yes.
let's say that the rule right now is, okay, let's just take Members Like Gas and Water, for example. That's Ms. Robinson's committee as chairperson.
Right.
Frank is the vice chair. You got Joe, Janice, Worth, and Jamita.
Right.
Let's say that she has a meeting and none of those people except her are present for whatever reason. What's she gonna do?
She can do what we've done. She can invite people who are present and allow them. She has the prerogative as chair.
Okay.
And that's what we've done.
Put it down.
As you said, it needs to be put down.
Put that, right. To be
May I
consistent.
just very quickly say something on that line?
Sure.
You know, the chair designates all council people to certain committees. I know last year, none of the people that were on the committees ever attended one committee meeting. I asked one of the chairs at the time, I don't know, I said, can you moderate? He said, no, I can't do that. Is there something that we could put in writing that for committee persons to please attend the meetings? Mr. Attorney,
I'm messing up. I'm sorry.
sorry, he was
I just say it
messing with
one
me.
more time. That
is
I
there
take the
anything
fault
that
now.
you could put in writing, or that would, or in our policy and procedure, that would require the council member who was selected to attend on a certain, in a certain committee, be present when that committee meets? My point is, we've had some committee members, some council people who've never attended one
You're talking about
committee
compelling,
meeting.
that our chair compels them to attend.
Yeah, well,
Okay, let's
That's
see.
the wording.
Let's talk about that a minute. Let me see what.
Opening that up for people that call in all the time.
We
So you
don't,
know you just open up that conversation. You did. Go ahead.
It goes back. Listen, it goes back to what a power do we have? What power do we have? You know who you answer to. You keep saying it all the
I
time.
know you.
You don't answer to them.
We
You answer to the public.
people, right.
And so there's a limit to what y'all can do to disenfranchise your constituents. You could be the most terrible, horrible council member in the world, but